Needs to be said, but when you see those videos talking about how Japanese people are so polite, they're so nice, that's propaganda. In order to survive on this godforsaken island, you need to understand it's not that Japanese people are somehow more polite than other ethnicities, it's that they're fake as fuck. And I'm Japanese, I can say that. So as you know, people aren't having babies and our birth rate is dying. So there's been programs like this. You know, in order to address labor shortages, there was a partnership with some African countries like Nigeria and Ghana and Tanzania to create these like hometowns in local Japanese areas. And again, it's not for fun, it's for work. And of course, netizens are losing their minds. And if you didn't know, if you want to get Plan B in Japan, it's not over the counter. You need a prescription. And this is a fact that like really ruined my teenage years after I got assaulted by a Japanese boy. But now there's been a push to like actually start making it more accessible, not for reproductive rights, but because people are afraid of rising SA cases with the increase of foreigners. So yeah, Japanese people are polite to your face, but then they go and vote for far-right parties like Sanseito that are extremely like anti-immigration. Y'all need to stop conflating Nintendo World with Japan as a country, because McFascism is doing a world tour and she is selling out arenas, even here. Japan and disability friendly should never belong in the same sentence. Just because we have good infrastructure doesn't mean this country cares about people with disabilities. This is a reminder that Japan used to forcibly sterilize people with disabilities under the eugenics protection law. And the purpose was to prevent the increase of inferior descendants. We had this law until 1996. That's just a year before I was born. And it wasn't until last year that the government finally decided to compensate the victims. Among the people who were forcibly sterilized, some of them were as young as 9 years old. And it's not just for people with physical disabilities, it's also for people with cognitive disabilities as well. Among the 25,000 people who were sterilized, 16,000 of them had it done without their consent. There's a documentary you can watch about this on NHK World, but basically, after World War II, Japan had a baby boom. More people started to have children, but there wasn't enough food to keep up with this growing population. There were talks of legalizing abortion to control the population, but politicians like Taniguchi heavily opposed it. He said if only superior people started having abortions, that means the inferior people would reproduce, therefore decreasing the quality of the Japanese people. Even though there's not a lot of scientific proof that disability and genetic heredity are linked, Japanese politicians wanted to prevent people with disabilities from having children. So no, I don't want to hear another content creator talk about how disability-friendly Japan is. You have no idea what people are going through. Japan ranking so low in the Global Gender Gap Index is that we are currently experiencing a feminized brain drain. That means a lot of our skilled female workers are choosing to move to other countries instead of pursuing a career domestically. Now, this is just my perspective as a Japanese person doing feminist research in Tokyo. All of my friends have realized that if they, as women, wanted to do gender-related research in Japan, there is no future for them here. And so they all left. They're all in Europe now. Even I get asked all the time, like, Misha, why are you still here? Why are you still doing your research in Japan? You know this is not the place for you. And don't get me wrong, I want to leave Japan. I also realize there's no future for me here. But some of us have to stay. As hard as it is to do gender research here, if all of us leave, what's going to happen to the future of Japan? Even though it's an extremely homosocial environment, there's not enough resources, there's not enough support, there's an abundance of sexual harassment. But it's because of this feminized brain drain that I feel like I have to stay. I have to counteract it and I have to forcibly make my way through. But it's hard and I don't recommend it. And if you are considering doing gender research in Japan, I don't recommend it, but we need you.